You're listening to Visibility Vixen, episode 23.
Visibility starts to go up. Your brand, your reach it starts to increase when you're consistent.
Welcome to the Visibility Vixen podcast, where we create space to grow our brand with intention and clarity, one episode at a time. Join us as we explore the many aspects of entrepreneurship, start loving the journey instead of the destination, and begin building a legacy that lasts. Here's your host, Michelle Lewis.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we are talking to someone that I have admired from afar, and it turns out she actually lives about 10 minutes from my place, which I think is so funny. So Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm going to give our audience just a little bit of a blurb about who you are and what you do so they can get to know you better. Jennifer Berson is the president and founder of Jeneration PR, a public relations and social media marketing firm specializing in promoting beauty, baby, and lifestyle brands, and Jeneration Academy, an online educational platform for entrepreneurs that includes courses, resources, and the Jeneration Insiders Facebook community. Jennifer was also selected by Babbel.com as one of the 10 mompreneurs who made it big. This is so exciting. So Jennifer, I actually heard you on another podcast and was like, this girl is so amazing. I have to get her on mine. And then I heard that you were on EO Fire. So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a fun interview, and it's been a great kind of boost to our online Facebook community as well. He's got a really loyal community. I think he calls them his Fire Nation. They're very loyal. And so a lot of them have come over and joined our group, and they've been a welcome addition to our community.
That's fantastic. So can you kind of talk a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah. Well, I am a former lawyer. So about 12 years ago, I started this PR firm. I did kind of a career 180, and it was the best decision I ever made, just switching careers and doing something I really love and I'm really passionate about. And, essentially what we do is we help brands and entrepreneurs get their products into magazines and on TV shows and into the hands of celebrities and influencers to help create consumer demand and visibility for their products. And after doing this for so long for brands that, I work with on retainer, I've really just had this itch to help other businesses that can't necessarily afford a PR retainer. Maybe they're just starting out and they have a great product or great service, and they, deserve to have some of that visibility for their brand too. So I am teaching people how to do what we do so that they can get that same recognition and reach for their products and get that media spotlight for themselves.
Absolutely. Well, you know that I love all things visibility, so you're right up my alley.
Yeah.
Let's dive into a lot of our audience. They're launching lady entrepreneurs, and most of them are coaches. So they have different packages or products or services that they're offering. What would your advice be when they're just kind of getting started, just dipping their toe in the water, where they can maybe start a little bit of a PR strategy for themselves?
Oh, that's a great question. And I think that the best way to approach PR is to get all of your assets in place so that you can be ready to hit the ground running and pitching the media and know that you have everything that they're going to be asking you for. So I actually created a tip sheet that's kind of like a PR essentials press readiness tip sheet. And I know you're going to include a link to that, but I walk through all of this, and there's a training video that goes along with it when people sign up to get this download. But essentially, you're going to want to have great photos of yourself in a headshot style, and then also like a lifestyle action shot, somehow like in your work environment or at a desk, or if you're training people, physically as a fitness instructor, or you're coaching people on wellness, something in the kitchen, something along those lines that really paint a picture of you and your personality. And then also write a great bio about yourself. Try to have a long format bio and then a really short version, like 3 sentences, no more than that. And just have those assets ready. If you have any sort of physical product, definitely have high resolution photos of that ready to go as well. And just really think about your messaging. How is your service distinct in the marketplace? What exactly are you offering? And come at it with that mindset and figure out what information your target audience would be interested in hearing, and start to put together story ideas around that. It could be seasonal trends. It could be holiday trends. Right now everybody's got back to school on their mind. So for online publications, it's a great time to reach out for that, or anything that's maybe like fall related. For long leads, short leads are online publications. Long leads are magazines. So anything that's printed on a newsstand, those have a lot longer lead time. So you got to think in advance, 90 days plus. And so right now, if you tack on 90 days to where we are now, they're looking at October, November. So think about topics around those times of year, and you can start to reach out to magazines and lend your expertise. Share what you know, what's unique to what you're teaching your ideal client, your ideal customer, and start reaching out with story ideas where you can lend your voice and your know-how for these kinds of stories. And you can also do the same thing with TV. And that's also a shorter lead time, because you can imagine they could call you and say, yeah, we would love to have you. And you could be in studio the very next day. So think about, what's timely and relevant right now. And that's how you can approach the media.
Fantastic. Well, I think those are great bite-sized actionable tips that they can go, oh, okay, well, I don't have a great headshot. It's a selfie. I can go out and make sure I have all that put together. And, that's so, so important in the bio too. So thank you so much for that. So I know that you have sent your son off to school today.
Yes, my younger son. Yeah.
Which is so awesome. How old is he?
So my younger son is 4. He's in pre-K. And then I have my older son is 6, and he's in kindergarten.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
yeah.
Me and my husband are starting to have that conversation. So it's exciting.
It's great. It's one of the best things. And we're really lucky. I mean, when you have your own business, you have, you definitely work extremely hard, and a lot harder than, I work a lot harder for myself than I ever feel that I was motivated to work for a company. But I love it so much. But the best thing about having your own business is that flexibility, especially when you have children, which is what I was looking for when I started my business, knowing I would grow into having a family and be able to be present for them. And I did drop off, and I'm room mom for both of my sons. And, it's just that kind of as close to balance as possible. I mean, obviously life is never perfectly balanced, but it's a pretty lucky scenario.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's kind of the dream. That's what my husband and I decided on, because we both worked in the film business, and we're like, well, we can't both be working 14-hour days and have kids. So that's how I kind of started my transition. So hats off to you, my dear. And what an exciting accomplishment where you can drop your kid off at school and come home and be like, okay, time to get to work. I just think it's so, so cool. And I know that that's the dream for so many people listening.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you. What is your biggest focus right now?
Oh, my biggest focus is creating my course. So you mentioned that I have Generation Academy, which is an online platform for entrepreneurs. And we have a Facebook group, Generation Insiders, that has grown to almost 1,000 members in just about 4 months, which is so
congrats.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been great. And I go in the group every single day, and I post like a conversation starter or a quote, or, I do weekly training in there for free. And I just am learning so much from this community, and everybody's helping each other. It's been amazing. But my main focus right now is creating a course that I believe they're looking for, that I've been told is not really out there in the form that people want to see. And it's my course is called Press Success, and it's a step-by-step program to teach essentially everything we know about how to properly approach the media, get the attention of editors, use the media to tell your story, create consumer demand, basically everything from creating your press plan, identifying your target customer, putting together your perfect pitch, sending it off to the media, when to follow up, what to do with your press once you get it, how to amplify it for even more opportunities. I mean, it's literally every single thing that we could think of that any entrepreneur at any stage could walk through and get amazing results.
Well, I'm just like sitting here drooling because I remember hearing about this on another podcast that you did, and I literally like Googled it. So I'm like, well, maybe it's out already. I was so excited. I think it is so genius, and I cannot wait. I'll be the first in line. So
I love that. Yay. It's going to be good. I mean, I've been thinking about this for a very, very long time, and it's a lot harder these days to get things accomplished in the same manner, timely manner that I'm used to. My kids are going in 20 directions, and we've got a lot of things going on that, like, this is the thing that I do at night when I'm lying awake at night and I can't sleep. I'm thinking about this. I get up out of bed and I'm working on this, and I just want it to be as comprehensive and complete and value. I just want to give as much value as I possibly can. And so I constantly think about it, how can I make this worth everyone's while? I want people to sign up and say, wow, like, I got so much out of this. I would easily pay twice that amount of money. And I want it to look great and be really well produced. So I have been working really a lot on this, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm excited. I'm going to launch next month at the end of September. And I just can't wait. I'm excited to have a group of people go through it and learn from them and make it even better and support them through the process.
Fantastic. Well, that kind of inspires me to ask you a question, because yesterday I was at Coffee Bean. I'm writing out my copy for the course that I'm shooting some videos for today. And I was looking at my calendar, and just for some reason, my breath kind of caught in my throat, because sometimes you feel like you're spread so thin. You have so much to do, not only in your own business, but doing guest blogs and like what you're doing, guest podcasts, and then, raising kids and stuff. Are there some practices that you do for yourself and for your business that help you stay more centered and more organized?
Oh, God, this is the $1 million question, right?
I know.
Well, there's a few things. Number one is I have an amazing team. I mean, you cannot do all of these things by yourself. You can't take it all on. I have my core retainer business. I have clients that count on us to get amazing results for them every month. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely can't do that on my own. And I trust my team so much, and they do incredible work. And especially too on my social media, we put a lot of thought into what goes out, but I rely on my team a ton for that. And I'm not going to come and say I do everything myself and I'm this like amazing, it's like we cannot do it all for ourselves. Totally. So, you kind of prioritize what you want to have your hands in personally, and trust in your team and realize that they're going to do the job that you hired them to do, and they're going to do it well. And that kind of takes some of that responsibility off of your plate. I am really focused on kind of making lists in my business, and instead of just writing kind of to-do lists, I really try to boil down my goals, like what are my bigger goals, and then what action steps do I need to take to actually achieve those goals. So instead of writing, create course, like that's a goal. That's not an action item. What goes into creating a course. So I break it down each day into like 3 to 4 actionable steps that I can take to move that greater goal forward. And I love writing it down so I can see it, and I love crossing it off. It feels like I accomplished something. Sometimes I'll add something to my to-do list after I've done it, just so I can cross it off. I'm the only one that does that.
No, the victory of that black pen going through those words is smooth as butter. I totally get it.
It feels good. You're just like, whoop, cross it off. Awesome. It feels good. And I have support with my kids too. So, I got somebody that picks them up from school. So my goal is to try to find the longest possible stretch of time in my day for focused work. And I know when they come home from school, I'm going to want to see them and hang out with them and all of that. So, I have someone that picks them up from school and it buys me like another hour or so. Maybe they take them to the grocery store, to go to the park, or see a friend, or work on their homework somewhere. But for me, I know that I have a very specific amount of focused time. And then the other tool that I've been using a lot, and I've been talking about it a lot on my social media, is the power of saying no.
Yes.
And, we just always feel obligated to take on things that come our way. I kind of started this with client opportunities that would come along that weren't necessarily the ideal fit for us. And I want to be more selective with my time, and if other opportunities that don't really fit my agenda or aren't the best use of my time. I mean, the mindset now for me is that if I'm focusing on somebody else's agenda or somebody else's, plan or goal or what they want, then I'm getting taken away from my clients. I'm getting taken away from my family. I'm getting taken away from my husband. And I'm also paying money for somebody to be watching my children while I do that. So it's like this kind of opportunity cost these days. And when I positioned it like that, I thought, wow, I'm really spending a lot of time on things that aren't our priority for me, and, kind of being taken away from the things that matter most to me. So once I started saying no a little bit more strategically, I have felt a lot more control over the chaos.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think that's a really important point, because you do sometimes get a little too stretched thin because you're saying yes to too many things. And so, yeah, you're doing a lot, but you're not necessarily doing a lot well.
Right. Yeah.
So
and now,
really
you start to get more strategic about the things that you are adding into your life, and it all becomes a little easier. Like when we add clients to our roster, they're a really good fit with our contacts, our other clients, our expertise. I'm not trying to fit, a square peg into a round hole, or, looking at a client and saying, wow, this is a really good retainer and it's a really good brand. I'm going to try to get the work, even though it's a stretch for us in our expertise. Now I just say, I'm not the right fit for this. So let's, recommend somebody else. And now everything just like works more efficiently because everything is on the same, it's a very similar vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's amazing. And it really kind of speaks to the importance of those boundaries, what to say yes to, what to say no to, when to create time for yourself, when to serve others. It's all like that balancing act. So let's move into, what is your favorite daily habit? I'm curious about this one.
Well, I already talked about list making. That's a definite daily habit that I think helps me kind of go back to being organized and focusing on the right things. But the latest thing that I've been doing every day is popping into my Facebook group and posting in there, because I know that consistency is so important, and I just I see the community interacting with each other, and I feel like there's still engagement even if I'm not in there. But I believe that the key to the growth of the group has really been that I've been consistently focused on it, adding value, giving free training, putting in some thought starter. Like I mentioned, all of these things. I think people see that this isn't just something that I put up and was active for a few weeks or months and then sort of like forgot about it. And I feel like it's also helped grow my email list and my other social media following, and I'm getting personal messages from people. Like yesterday, I had this woman who reached out to me that came from the EO Fire podcast and then has been in my group and following on social media, and she's starting a business and asked if we could, work together in more of like a mentorship capacity, which I thought was so lovely and wonderful. And, I just feel that daily habit of saying, okay, maybe I don't have much to say, but I'm just going to say something. And being there and being present has really helped to grow my reach and establish me as an expert, which will hopefully, benefit when I launch this course. Because people are used to hearing from me, and they sort of expect that it's going to be good content now. And I on the other like more personal kind of daily habit, it's kind of funny, but I listen, my husband and I listen to this kind of mindfulness meditation, like a body scan meditation to help sleep.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's free online if you search UCLA guided meditations. It's through the university. And then you'll see like one that says body scan for sleep. It's like 13 minutes, and I listen to it and I conk out.
Nice.
So that's been a great way to help kind of, it signals my body it is time for shut-eye, and I fall right asleep. So that's a great thing we do.
Oh, yes. I love that. I'll definitely look that up, because I find that I lay down and my brain is like, hey, let's think about some stuff. I'm like, no,
right,
everything. Sleep.
Exactly.
Oh,
just think about everything, and your brain cannot shut down. So this kind of helps me do that. I mean, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and then I start thinking about things, but it definitely has helped me fall asleep faster than I used to. So that's a good one to check out.
I'll definitely link that below. I think that is so valuable. So thank you for that. So as we depart, I would love to know the number one piece of encouragement that you'd like to give a ladypreneur who's listening, who's feeling invisible.
God, that word invisible it's so hard.
I know, but we've all been there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels like sort of small and defeated. And, the visibility comes from being consistent and believing in yourself. So, all these other people, like we look at what they're doing online, and there's been a lot of talk about how social media is this sort of negative factor in how people view themselves, because everybody's lives are perfectly curated and you're seeing the best of the best. You're not seeing any of the deep, dark shadows and things that, people don't want to see. It's all like accomplishments and finished products, and you don't always see the hard work and effort that goes into things, or the harder moments. And I will say that the best engagement that I get, not that life is about engagement, but I will say what resonates most with people is when I'm the most honest about myself and my life and how things are messy and imperfect and challenging. And I definitely don't want to put out into the world that, that I'm perfect or my business is perfect, my family's perfect. It's all a work in progress. And so just know that everybody that you see online, they have their own struggles and challenges, and you're not seeing the messiness of it all. And so people also compare themselves and their present state to other people's kind of endings, so you look at someone with a large social media following, or you see that, like, I look at everybody who's launching courses all around me while I'm still struggling to finish it. And it's hard, but I just look at it and I go, okay, that's great. That validates that there's a market for this, that people want this. So I continue to focus on the positive, and your visibility starts to go up, your brand, your reach it starts to increase when you're consistent and when you add value. So continue to focus on just consistently showing up, whatever it is you're trying to do. Like, with your podcast, you've got to just stick with it. It takes a long time to find an audience. Few people are overnight successes. They've worked so hard to get there. And also, every step you take in whatever you're trying to accomplish, try to focus on the value that you bring to whatever you're doing, and just continually add value and be consistent and show up, and, you won't be invisible for long.
I think that's so encouraging for so many of us. So as you guys have heard, Jennifer has given us such encouragement today, especially in visibility. It is a work in progress. It's messy. It's step by step. But one of the best things that you can do, I believe, on a daily basis is take small increments of action. And one of those actions that you can take is downloading her generous freebie. That is her tip sheet and her training video. She's going to be walking you through how to get started in the PR process, which she went over earlier in our podcast. And if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, you want to make sure to hit those 3 dots of the cast that you're listening to and hit view full description. And there will be a bunch of clickable links, including her PR tip sheet. So be sure to download that ASAP, get that together so that you're prepared for that next step. So Jennifer, thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for coming onto the podcast and giving some more hope and inspiration to lady entrepreneurs all over the world. We so appreciate you and cannot wait to take your course.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been awesome chatting with you.
It's been so good talking to you too. So everyone have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you next week right here for a new episode of Visibility Vixen.
Thanks for listening in today to the Visibility Vixen podcast. Subscribe now and share with a fellow Vixen who wants to start building their visibility. For more fire in your life and brand, visit visibilityvixen.com.